'Tis I. Hey everyone, glad to see you back, glad to see you looking fresh. So, the year has come to a close yet again, and it is time to talk about my favorite video games of the past year. That being 2021, if you're new, I guess, I don't know. You aren't paying attention to the year's name, I don't know what you're about. So, 2021 was a strange year for gaming. On the outskirts coming in, it looked like it was going to be this huge, massive, back to form after what happened last year, but it turns out to be more subdued than I expected, and a little bit more selective with what games kind of came out, what games got pushed back and all that. But there were still a large selection of games to play this year, and I have 10 up from 5 last year. I'm really trying to push myself to talk about and discuss and celebrate. Let's stop me mumbling and let's just get right into this thing.
Number 10.
So, starting off our list, we have Deathloop, a game going in that I knew had a lot of hype behind it, but I'm not a huge fan of, I say these type of games, there's really not been a time loop kind of game before, but Arcane Studios is one that I respect wholeheartedly. But when I played Dishonored, I wasn't a huge fan of Dishonored. I didn't even really play Dishonored 2, and that's my only introduction with them, so their gameplay is fine for me. It's just not my kind of thing. I don't really like stealth, and this game has a lot of stealth in it, but I cannot deny the style, the characters, the music, all of the world building is great. The minute-to-minute gameplay is where I falter a little bit, but the pros vastly outweigh the cons here, and I'm happy that this game exists. It is a weird state of, I guess, PlayStation exclusivity for a little bit before jumping over to Microsoft, because this may be the last Bethesda game we see on a PlayStation console, so Deathloop is starting off our list strong.
Number 9.
Next up is a very different game from what we just talked about. Scarlet Nexus is a game of super fast-paced action, very Devil May Cry, Bayonetta kind of action, but with some cool superpowers thrown in there and a crazy over-the-top anime art style and plot. The game really speaks to me. It's very snappy, it's very fun. I like a lot of characters in this game. I really like the action in this. This is straight up minute-to-minute action. This might be one of the best here. I think the world and everything it tries to do is great. I haven't seen the show. I've heard the show isn't great. But the game is, and you should give it a try. It got nominated for Best RPG of the Year. So check it out if you haven't already. Scarlet Nexus is one of the smaller games on here. Please give it a go.
Number 8.
So this one is a bit of a weird one because it was bundled in with another game, so it's not its own full game, but I'm just going to count this game because it's the only new part of that game. Anyways, it's Bowser's Fury. Of course, attached to the Wii U ports. Now on the Switch, Bowser's Fury is the new mode, new full game from that. It is a cool open world, it's not that big, but it is an open world Mario game where you get to run around, collect shrines, play with Plessy, and it's fun. It's straight up fun. It's like I said, it's quick, but it packs a lot in. Just running around with Mario in that kind of world is great. I really look forward to maybe another game like this, a big full one that's just this, or maybe Odyssey 2, please, because that game is phenomenal and I want more of that. So yes, Bowser's Fury is great. Is it worth the price of admission? It's up to you, because if you haven't played that other game, yes. I keep saying that other game like I can't mention it. The other game is great, though. I'm not going to mention it now. Play both if you haven't already. Bowser's Fury is a great addition, though.
Number 7.
Monster Hunter Rise comes in at number 7 and is the newest Monster Hunter game. Well, I guess technically not, because we had a Stories game. Is the newest mainline Monster Hunter game. It takes a lot from Monster Hunter World, which is a game I adore, and puts it on the Switch, adds some new verticality to it, adds some cool new monsters and a cool new setting, and it's really good. It's more Monster Hunter. I mean, if you like Monster Hunter, you like this. If you don't, you won't. I think that this is a good game to get people into it. Obviously, it doesn't hold your hand too much, and you just kind of gotta go for it at the beginning, but if you can get past that learning curve, there's a lot of good stuff here for you. It's a long game if you sink your teeth into it fully.
Number 6.
So coming up at number 6, we have a game that's technically not new, but because of its notoriety, I'm gonna call it new, and that is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the Complete Edition, now out on physical and I have it forever, and no one can take it away from me. This is one of the most infamous games where, in the discussion of the all-digital future, where studios and storefronts can just take a game away, and there's no way to get it now. So, this game finally coming back on the store shelves, being able to play it, finally, I've been waiting for so long. I've been a Scott Pilgrim fan for a long time, and I just haven't been able to play this because I watched the movie Not Right in 2011, and it had already gone off of storefronts by the time I wanted to get it. So, getting able to play it now is great, and I can play it forever now. It's just straight up good stuff. Beat 'em ups are great when they're great, and this is a great beat 'em up.
Number 5.
Bringing us into the top 5, we have my favorite indie game of the year in Tome, which is a beautiful little black and white photography game where you go around, little worlds, pre-built, I almost said pre-built worlds, and do missions for people and take pictures of whatever they want to take pictures of. And the game ranges from, sometimes you're taking a picture of a cat in a tree or an ant on the ground, all the way to, you're scuba diving or you're solving an international spy plot. It's silly and crazy at times, but it's just a pleasant ride the whole way through. It's very nice, it's very sweet, and get it on the Switch now. Like I said, this is my favorite indie game of the year, and I really enjoy playing indie games like this, and I'm able to talk about it and talk about it with the big boys on this list, because it deserves to be there. So go play Tome if you haven't already.
Number 4.
Persona is back. Persona 5 Strikers is the newest Persona 5 game. I believe it is probably the last Persona 5 game, so that means it's the last time I have to hang out with these characters, which is a little sad to think about, but this game really ends up their story very nicely. It rounds off the Persona 5 series very nicely, and it does everything it tries to do very nicely. Gameplay loop is a lot of hack and slash and a lot of backtracking, so if you're not into that, you might not be into this. And if you haven't played Persona 5, it's going to be a little confusing because this game expects you to just know what's going on. So those are the only downsides. Other than that, obviously great music, obviously great characters, great voice acting, everything. I love this series, and I anxiously await Persona 6. Maybe, hopefully, Persona 4 gets ported to a console. I could play it on PC, but I just haven't yet. Forward to that, I'm always excited to see where Persona goes now.
Number 3.
Our top 3 starts off with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. One of the most, surprisingly showcase-worthy games on the next generation already, in that the loading times, which just on paper sound really boring to talk about, but when you see it work in action and you see warp points and you warp between worlds immediately, it's super cool. I never got tired of it the entire time playing this game. I always was excited to do it. Anytime I see a portal open up, and I'm going through that and mess around with the camera to see if I could try to break it or something, make a load screen show up. I couldn't do it. The game, it runs flawlessly. It's so much fun on a minute-to-minute gameplay. It is just more Ratchet and Clank, which is far from a bad thing. I have not yet gone to Platinum this game, but honestly, if I'm in the mood, and I probably will be in the mood at some point to Platinum this, because it is great. Just fun stuff the whole way. Almost no complaints here.
Number 2.
So, when discussing number 1 and number 2, it is clear where my biases lie. These are both franchises that I have loved for a long time. Both games I was very excited about. And both properties mean a lot to me. And it is a pleasure to be able to have them duke it out for number 1 and number 2. Someone has to lose, right? Number 2 goes to Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, the best superhero game of the year. I don't think it had much competition, if there was any at all. But Guardians of the Galaxy was such a surprise when it got announced at E3. It was such a surprise that it was actually really, really good. And I haven't stopped listening to the soundtrack of this game since it came out. Star-Lord Band on Spotify is gonna be listened to a lot more because I get their songs stuck in my head a lot. But honestly, beyond the soundtrack, even the characters are so well done. The story is so well done. The action is so much fun. It does it in a cool way of, you're Star-Lord, so you're by far, physically the weakest member of the team. So, you get to command the other members of the Guardians to do things as well, while also you have your blasters and your weak punch move. But you have a lot of cool tricks up your sleeve when in combat, and there's so many good combat scenarios, and it blends the music into the combat super well, and combat between different, like, bosses is so cool, and the character stories overlap perfectly, and there's like so many things I want to talk about, but I don't want to spoil the story here, so please go play Guardians of the Galaxy. I know it may seem like just another, like, superhero whatever, like you're sick of Marvel, but give it a try. And if it doesn't hook you in the first couple hours, then I guess it's not for you, but really try to stick with it. It really goes to some amazing places, and I'm so glad it works so well.
Number 1.
And finally, our number 1 pick is a franchise I have adored almost my entire life, and I don't think ever has one of their games been able to reach number 1 in my favorite games of the year. So I am finally super happy to say that my game of the year for 2021 is new Pokemon Snap. Now, non-Pokemon fans, and even more specifically non-Snap fans, may see this as, what the heck, you're just taking pictures of Pokemon, how can this be any fun? But, in a way to describe it in a more very gamey-like sense, it is a on-rail shooter in the Pokemon world. You get to go around very beautiful environments and take pictures in the wild of how Pokemon interact with each other, and you can interact with them in many different ways, and there are many secrets to explore. I really did enjoy the original, being able to just step into this, and I immediately was super addicted to this. I did not want to stop playing for a few weeks, and it's the game I've gone back to the most. It's the most played game I played on Switch this year, and I've been every now and again, I'll just get the urge to just go back and try to fill out more of my photo decks, and there are many Pokemon to take pictures of, many ways to take pictures of them, because every Pokemon has at least 4 different stages to take pictures of. There's a lot of content here. I absolutely adore this game. Why we had to wait so long for another one is beyond me, but like it was well worth the wait. I can't... I really am sad just thinking about how it's going to be like another 20 years, even if we get another Snap after this. But we have this one now. I wish I could play it for the first time again, because it's such a magical experience, and I'm so happy it works. And that is why it is my game of the year. So, what are you guys' games of the year this year? Did you love Snap as much as I did? Did you love Deathloop more than me? Because you probably did, but I still enjoyed it. So, yes, that is my top 10 of the year, and you can look forward to my top 10 films of the year coming very soon. And then, of course, the most anticipated for next year, all that, is a very list-heavy time of year. So, yes, thank you so very, very much for watching. As always, like this if you like this, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you at some point.